things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. So during the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. But they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. So roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. And I have my doubts. So I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. Yeah. All right. Had a little bit of a cough creep up. Good evening. Wow. I do have a little bit of notes wrote down for tonight's show. Not a whole lot. And then I've got a few things open for tonight's show because I think it's important. You are probably going to learn something you didn't know. And for many people, it will likely not sit well. And probably shouldn't. Um, there's a reason it shouldn't. So, and I will show you. I will walk you through that. So it's undeniable. So you can't say, I'm just saying it. But it's not me. Not me. um, so anyway, let me go ahead and run through the normal stuff, get the normal stuff out of the way. And then we'll get dived in on this. So 1 second. All right. With the weather change, my phlegm is back, and it's just like a real thick phlegm. So from time to time, it gets me. But anywho, let me run through the normal stuff. Then we'll dive into the topic, and we will go from there. Like I say, I think you're going to be very interested in what I have to say, and you might even be shocked at some of it. So anyway, Amazon affiliate, we are at, wow, why can't I read that? 2165. I want to thank those. I do show it looks like another item was ordered, so that should be going up as soon as that item ships. I want to thank those that participate in that. It helps out very much, so thank you. For those that don't know, we're an Amazon affiliate. There's a link in the description of the videos, as well as at the watchmannews.com. If you're on a PC, you'll see it. If you're on a phone, you might have to turn the phone sideways to see these links, and there's a possibility it may not show up on your mobile device. Tablets, I'm pretty sure to show up. I don't know if you have to be in landscape or portrait. I think it depends on the tablet. But anyway, there's actually other menu items, and that's going to really play into effect in the near future, hopefully. So anyway, here is our Amazon affiliate link. It's just a link that takes you to Amazon, but it does so with our special link. And then when you make purchases, those items don't cost you anything more, but it gives us a little commission for the sale. All those little commissions add up at the end of the month, and it really, truly does help out. We do truly, truly appreciate it. We also have a Teespring store. Right now we have 4 different designs in the store. I'll add more as soon as I can get to it. I don't know when that'll be, but I will be adding more to it. If you see a design we currently have that you like, click on the image. That'll take you to Teespring. There's more than just t-shirts. There's coffee mugs, tote bags, all kinds of other stuff with that design. So if you see a design you like, just click on the image. That'll take you over to Teespring, where you can make your purchase there. So lastly, we have a PayPal donate link. That's in the description of the videos, as well as at the watchmannews.com. Right there in the main menu. That just takes you to our PayPal donation page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can do so as a guest with a debit or a credit card. But I always let people know it does say Transforming Disabilities up top, but it also says Purpose, the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. All right. Let me have a sip and mute while I clear my throat. You're welcome. I love tea. Okay. I can't quite say I love tea as much as coffee, but I don't think I could drink coffee all day. But tea's up there. Tea's up there. Alright. Where shall I start? Well, in the beginning, no, I'm kidding. We do need to start there. Kind of. Your personal beginning. Not Genesis. You need to do that. But I need to start with your personal beginning. Now, this is probably the hardest step of this journey. Hands down. Probably the hardest step. number one, you have to surrender 100%. It can't be a partial thing. And Father Yah has made it very clear about lukewarm. Very clear about lukewarm. So, the first thing you have to do is surrender yourself wholly to Him. And believe me, you do it, you'll never look back. Oh, I hope you don't. Of course, I can't say you never, but I sure hope you don't. The reason why surrendering is so important and why it is really, truly the first step is because you have to let go of the world. If you're not ready to let go of the world, I don't know what to tell you. Because there are things that will be impossible for you to see, no less do the right thing. All the stuff I'm talking about is backed up easily in Scripture. In fact, when I say let go of the world, that should remind you of a specific Scripture if you're familiar at all with the Bible. And it wouldn't take me but 2 seconds to find it. Most people listening to this probably already know it. Multiple places. That's important, but you have to surrender first, because if you don't give yourself wholly to Him, you are going to yearn for those things of the world. Without a doubt. Remember, I've got that prepping priority list. Well, every one of those things in the prepping priority list has its own priority list. Number one here is surrender. Number two is let go of the world. Why do you need to let go of the world? Well, I've already given you some examples. But the most important reason is because you need to read the Word. And most importantly, you need to talk to Him directly. Not through some pastor, not through the church sermon, directly. You need to read and talk and read and talk and read and talk. And if you're not hearing anything, you need to keep doing it. And if you keep doing it and you keep doing it and you keep doing it, you need to find out what it is that is drowning Him out. Again, the priority list here is number one, surrender. Number two, let go of the world. And then read and talk. And it may take years. It did me. It did me. By the way, since I have a bad way of doing things ass backwards, I did the reading and talking kind of first. I didn't truly surrender. I only kind of half-ass surrendered. And then I went to reading and talking. And then I let go of the world. Let me say that again. I half-ass surrendered. Then I did reading and talking. Okay, then I actually surrendered and I let go of the world. I forgot the actual surrender. Um, so you do have to surrender, I guarantee you, before you can let go of the world, because you're going to yearn it, and everything, every experience around you, unless you live somewhere with a group of like-minded individuals that live this way, and I would say it's probably hard pressed to find, unless you live that way with everybody else that lives that way, it's not going to be an easy life. I mean, in fact, you're going to get attacked. Without a doubt. I'll promise you that. I'll promise you that this is not an easy road. That I promise you. But it's an important one, and it's a fulfilling one. Now, what did I mean by that note? Uh, I write down the shortest little notes, and normally I don't get myself, but I may have gotten myself. Hang on. Okay. I think I get it. So let's shift this up here a little bit, and let's apply this spiritual preparedness to your group. I'm telling you right now, if you've got evil in your group, you better get it out. You better get it out. Because it's all it takes. Hang on. That's all it takes is that one little evil root to be planted and to grow. All it takes. And it can absolutely destroy your entire tribe. Promise you. I promise you. And if you don't have what I just talked about, if you don't have that connection, because you haven't surrendered, you haven't let go of the world, you haven't put your face in that book and read and spoke to the Father every day. I still speak to him every day, all throughout the day. If I didn't know better, I would think I was his biggest pain in the ass. But I want his input on everything. Why? Because I surrendered. And when I surrendered, I gave it all to him. And ever since I've done that, I've just watched things unfold. It's incredible. It's incredible. No, I'm not Joel Osteen. I don't have a private jet. That ain't right. If you look in the good book, that ain't right. Yeah, I'm telling you. If evil's in your group, you got to root it out. And in my honest opinion, the only way that you're going to have a real good sense of whether or not there's evil amongst you is if you have that connection, or somebody in your group has that connection and can do that for you. I'm telling you, it's important. This does absolutely relate to your team, your tribe, your mag, whatever you want to call them. Even your family, your household. This is this is just as important in everyday life as what it is to prepping. After a while of reading and talking and understanding that the Word consists of both the Old Testament and the New, you will start to learn about discernment. Discernment is key, and I've talked about that many, many, many times. Discernment is so key in so many ways of your life. Let me give you a bit of an example and maybe a little bit of a lesson. Again, I don't expect it to be real well received. Now, I'm going to play the audio of this because I don't want to butcher the words. It's only a couple of quick verses. It's not anything big. But when you look at it and you pull it apart a little bit, it's kind of concerning, or should be, for people. So we all know 10 Commandments. We all know one of the 10 Commandments is thou shalt not murder. And I'm going to emphasize murder, not kill, murder. Thou shalt not murder. But what is murder? Well, duh. That's when one person kills another person. Well, kinda. Murder is when you would kill somebody, without cause. In other words, if you were defending yourself and you took another person's life because you were in defense of yourself, that's not murder. That's not biblical murder. Okay, you were defending yourself. That's righteous. But if you were the other person that was, the attacker, and you succeeded in attacking and you killed the person you were attacking, that's murder. But is that it? No. No. You see, that doesn't even begin to cover murder. Huh? Yeah, we're talking about the Bible. We're not talking about your society. Remember I said you got to let go of the world? And you got to read? And you got to talk? I said that for a reason. Let's move to Matthew 5. We're just going to do, I think it's 21 and 22. Let me just play it.
You heard that it was said to those of old, You shall not murder, and whoever murders shall be liable to judgment. But I say to you that whoever is wroth with his brother without a cause shall be liable to judgment. And whoever says to his brother, Rakah, shall be liable to the Sanhedrin. But whoever says, You fool, shall be liable to fire of Gehinnom.
Okay. So that is out of the Scriptures, Bible. Okay? Both the audio and what you're seeing there. Again, that was verses 21 and 22. So let's pull this apart for just a minute. It's important. It truly is important. Because as you hear it said, you heard that it was said to those of old, "You shall not murder, and whoever murders shall be liable to judgment." You don't want to be liable to judgment. But let's read 22. "But I say to you that whoever is wroth," angry, whoever is mad, right? "Whoever is wroth with his brother without a cause," "shall be liable to judgment." Uh-oh. It's not just about schwacking. Oh. What was that, Billy Mays? But wait, there's more? Ah. "And whoever says to his brother, 'Raka,' shall be liable to the Sanhedrin." What the hell's that mean? And what happened to your voice? Well, can't tell you what happened to my voice, but Raka. Matthew 5:22 is the only passage in the Bible where the term Raka is used. Raka comes from the Aramaic term Reka, which is a derogatory expression meaning empty-headed, insinuating that a person's stupidity or inferiority. It was an offensive name used to show utter contempt for another person. Jesus warned us that the use of such a word to describe someone was tantamount to murder and deserving of the severest punishment of the law. So when I did look up Sanhedrin, and it basically means the assembly or the council, right? Elders. You have to remember, folks, it's not just Christianity out there. They're not all called rabbis. They're not all called the same thing. That's a pretty serious bit of information there, don't you think? I wonder how many people listening to this knew that to call your brother, and I would say sister, stupid is the equivalent of murder, biblically. I'm not saying you're going to get charged with murder by man, but you're going to get charged with murder by Father Yah. This might be something you might want to chew on a little bit. This is part of spiritual preparedness, right? So I would highly suggest, if you're somebody that takes pleasure in this type of stuff, you might want to read this a few times. Talk to Father Yah about it. So, when I was asked kind of in a roundabout way to do this episode, which again, it's not really particular this episode per se, but it was a question that was directly related. What do you do? I mean, when you come across, because again, I'm telling you, an unrighteous person, I mean, this goes without saying, is evil. Okay? Somebody that lives their life doing this type of stuff is evil. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. When they set out their day to live this way, to treat each other this way, It's evil. And that's why I was telling you earlier, you can't allow that in your camp. You got like people in your camp that, and I say camp, your tribe, your mag, your group, whatever you want to call it, right? You've got people in there that want to gossip and play popularity contest. Man, you got to get it out. Because that root to grow. And, especially when it comes to survival, man, you don't have time for that. It brings down morale. I mean, just everything. It destroys everything. Again, it's evil. So I was asked to explain it a little bit. And what you can do as far as spiritual preparedness, because one of the things that we often talk about in prepping is doing area studies and whatnot. And so this kind of stuff is important when it comes to that. Remember when I was talking a little bit ago about how it's important to have that connection? So you've got that sense, so to speak. Because I'm telling you, when you've got that good connection, you've got a sense. You do have a sense that you will pick up on somebody that is not righteous. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, that there are so many righteous people running around, because there's not. But that's just it. You will pick up on it. You will pick up on it. But there are some people that are plain evil. All right? There's a lot of folks that aren't righteous, but there are some that are plain evil. And you have to understand, when it comes to those type of people, there's two things. There are two things that they have to have. And number one is control. And they have to have that control in any way that they can get it. Whether that be directly, indirectly, through a third party, however they can do it. They have to have that control. A lot of times, directly, they'll either try to do it through fear or emotional blackmail. That's a highly popular one. The old guilt trip. There's any kind of number of ways. Very manipulative. But the other thing that they have to have in order to succeed is attention. And the reason why I bring this up, and it kind of goes to with, and I can't say it yet. I can't say the word. I almost spit it out too. And the reason I can't say it is it's going to be an upcoming thing. I'll just leave it at that. It's a good thing. It's going to be good. But anyway, they have to have attention. Okay? And if you look to certain cultures, groups, whatever you want to call it, and what they do when they run into this, it's very telling. The Amish is a very good example of what I'm talking about. They turn their backs on people. Well, that's biblically sound. That is biblically sound. Okay? There's a reason why they turn their backs on people. And all it is just simply not being a part of evil. That's all it is. That's like us. That's all we want. We just don't want to be a part of evil. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. We're certainly not perfect. And I I can't speak for Jen, but I can tell you for myself, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not even shooting for that. That's ridiculous. But I'll tell you what, I probably try a lot harder than I'd even ever give myself credit for. I don't like disappointing him. Because I do have that every day, several times a day, communication. My best friend. I don't want to let him down. So I try. Now, I don't try to be perfect, but I try not to let him down. But anyway, as I was saying, they have to have control and attention. And if they're starved of both, look out. You know, it's important. The most important thing of all of this, as I was saying earlier about Midway's End, is your connection and being able to make decisions, having that discernment. Those are the major things. Those are the game changers when it comes to spiritual preparedness that'll help you make the right decisions. You know, I do take so much to him every day because I do want his input. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every single little thing I go to him with that I hear a booming, this is what you do. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. But I do take a whole lot to him. And a lot of times, it does feel like I get a little bit of a push in one of the directions, one of the options. It feels like I've got that little push. And I trust it. I trust that instinct. But that's because it's had a proven track record. Spiritual preparedness is big. It's so big, I honestly don't even feel like I'm worthy of covering it. But we've got to have our priorities in order. There's one particular headline in the news today that is going to help confirm again something that I've been talking about, and here recently. In fact, I just mentioned it yesterday. And I guarantee you're going to want that connection. I guarantee you're going to want to know what the good book had to say. I am blessed. I am lucky. I am so fortunate that in the amount of time that I've been on this journey, I'm absolutely just blessed in how far he has helped me become. And the fact that how much he's helped me get here. I mean, just can't tell you how important it is. But when you see it and you experience it and you live it day by day, you learn that you just do his will. Just do his will. I mean, I sit here and I struggle when I think about things like Moses and parting the Red Sea. I'm not going to lie. I struggle with parts of the scripture about walking on the water. I'm not going to lie. But I've sat there and watched moves made for myself that I was like, wow. Even here recently. Like, real damn recently. I'm not a big believer of coincidence. Which reminds me, likely won't be a show Sunday. Because probably won't have internet on there until Monday. So, there likely won't be a show Sunday night. I will be able to throw up a post on the community section of YouTube or whatever. I will be able to do that. And I will, as a reminder. Monday should be back. Not a problem. As long as they don't have any issues getting us turned on. So, should be back without an issue. So, just wanted to make a reminder of that. Trying to think. I think I pretty well kind of. I mean, again, I'm not even, in my opinion, worthy to discuss this. Because there's just so much, and I'm just me. I'm not one of those people that can sit there and recite the Bible to you word for word. I honestly wish there was. And it's so weird because I've got the most wild memory. And I remember the littlest things. But I'm not good at remembering quotes. And remembering a Bible verse is like remembering a quote. I'm not good at remembering quotes. I can remember the premise behind the quote. In fact, I can completely remember and understand the premise, but to remember it verbatim, nope, not going to happen. Alrighty. Let me go ahead and just do the show, do the news. I think I pretty well covered a lot of that. Again, and don't play around with it. If you've got evil in your tribe, in your group, mag, get it out. And it doesn't matter who it is. I can't mean that enough. I cannot mean that enough. I was in a situation, and I'll just say this. I was in a situation in which I was married to an evil person. And, man, she had cost us so many homes, So many bank accounts. Ridiculous. And crap, I forgot what I was even going with that. I got lost and thought about that. It's been a ridiculous journey, folks. It's been a ridiculous journey back. You know what it took to get me to completely surrender? Because I'm a stubborn son of a bitch. I'm pretty strong. In order to get my attention, have my time, my one-on-one time, he had to take both the things I hated pretty much most and the things I loved most. And I still haven't seen my children since 2014. Wasn't just my children. It was also all of my possessions. Everything from the things that were handed down to me. Everything. Like all my clothes, all my tools, all my prepping supplies. Out of everything I owned and from my entire life, I got a duffel bag, a medium Alice pack, and my computer tower. The very one that Jen's using right now. It's been a long 6 years. I've had the best partner a man could ask for and building it back. But ladies and gentlemen, that is what happens when you let evil into your camp. But that's what it took as well for, and where I was going with that, for him to get me to shut out enough of everything, including myself, especially myself. I better make that very clear, because that was the biggest thing he had to shut up was me. That was the biggest thing. He had to shut me up so that I could hear him. My apologies for not making that clear sooner. Because that's probably the biggest takeaway from that. I had it on my desk, and I've mentioned it like maybe a couple of times on the show, but I had it on my desk. Remember what I just said about not being able to remember verbatim. Be still. I think it said, "Be still, let God work." And I have no doubt that Father Yah sent a brother to give me that message, because I could not hear him. And so he sent a brother that he knew would at least let me hear that. And there were key things he said that really spoke it. You got to be watchful for that too. on your journey. If you're having a really hard time and you're trying to speak to the Father and it's just like you're not getting anywhere, be mindful of those you interact with, especially if somebody just says something, clicks with it, because the Father's good about sending people to help us understand where it is we're screwing up. But you have to be seeking him for him to do that. You have to already be seeking him. Anyway, let me go ahead and go on with the news because I'll babble on about the journey, hell, to the end of time. I love Father Yah. I truly do. All right. Let me have a sip of tea. COVID numbers right now. United States fatal cases last 24. Well, remember, we'll update. We don't know if it'd be more or less. I would suspect more, and I'll show you why here in a second. 2,784. Now, earlier, it was quite a bit higher than that, and I did take a screenshot of it. Let me get closer to my screen. Okay, yeah, 6,072 is what it said earlier, and that's why I took a screenshot of it, because I was like, wow. So I nabbed a screenshot of that, so let's see what it says. Oh, wow, I won't be doing a show tomorrow, so you can go to our website, thewatchmannews.com, scroll down on the homepage, look at that, right there, boom, right there on our webpage, thewatchmannews.com, and you can check tomorrow if you want, and see, but you've seen it yourself, 6,000 some odd, yikes. So let's check the graph. Yesterday, for new cases, they're saying 217,021. So they are showing an uptick on new cases again. And, yeah, heck of a spike here on the fatal cases at 3,331. And if I'm not mistaken, that is a record. So, like, I want to say by far, pretty much. Yeah, that's the closest there, 3,043. So, yeah. Beat the record by, not too shy of 300. But I'm not sure that this is indicative of Thanksgiving. Let's see, because it won't stop. If this is from Thanksgiving, it's not going to stop. It's going to spread. It's going to get worse. Once you let that genie out of the bottle, you let it out. And, we didn't have it capped, but it was a lot more capped over the summer months, I think, than what it's going to be. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I did the same thing that I was doing all throughout the spring, and I just expected to see numbers change too soon. All we can do is see. I don't have a crystal ball. Here locally, 1,342 is where we are at. Don't think I packed up. I'm gonna say I made sure not to pack up my my numbers here. We are at 1,342 today. Yesterday it was up to 1,320, so that is an increase of 22 for our zip code, and that's total confirmed cases. Thank Yah, that's not fatal cases. Let's see. I guess we're the headlines. Fun, fun. All right. Starting with some from last night. No unfair advantage. Vietnam rejects U.S. currency manipulation charge, but vows to work with Washington to resolve Roe. Critics remind Cuomo of the First Amendment after he banned sale of Confederate flag and other hate symbols on state property. Okay, now we're from stuff that I put out this morning. Hard lockdown in Australian state violated human rights and was contrary to the law, says an ombudsman. And an ombudsman apparently is somebody that looks into those types of things. It's like a human rights kind of thing. And interesting, huh? That was in Australia where insane lockdowns. Bitcoin worth more than JP Morgan as crypto sets a new historic peak above 23,000. Could you imagine Bitcoin? And I'm not encouraging it, but could you imagine Bitcoin like going above like NASDAQ? Would that not be wild? That would be just freaky. And I'll tell you what, those cats that's been in it for a little bit and stayed in it's going to be filthy rich. But I'm not encouraging it. I don't feel right about it. That's just me. You do you. Election integrity watchdog to sue Facebook's Zuckerberg for using dark money to fund massive fraud. Vladimir Putin holds annual year-end press conference, and there's going to be some statements, several statements that he had made that we'll be reading. French President Macron tests positive for COVID-19. Yikes. Russia reviving domestic aviation with new aircraft engine, cutting dependence on foreign suppliers, experts tell RT. The UK is prepared for a no deal, says Home Secretary, but negotiations firmly in the tunnel phase. A second health worker in Alaska suffers allergic reaction after getting Pfizer COVID-19 jab. Now, haven't been doing this for very long. So this is the second one. In this, if I'm not mistaken, from the same facility. Okay? So that's two in what, like a couple of days or something? From the same facility. How many are you not hearing about? Russia getting off the oil needle, Putin says. A U.S. decries disinformation from Taiwan politicians over food safety of pork imports. A deadly brain-eating amoeba spreading across U.S. via interconnected freshwater systems. I could make comments, but it would not be of Father Yah. Putin claims opposition figure Alexei Navalny working with American intelligence says Kremlin not behind his alleged poisoning. The end of the Virgin Wars, ? Streamers and viewers weigh in after Twitch announces simp ban. And I guess they banned several words, simp being one of them, and virgin, and yeah. So I guess it's bullying to, do that. Don't do that. Be nice. You're supposed to not cause, discontent among your brothers and sisters, and that includes calling them simps and virgins and anything derogatory. Might hurt feelings. Putin wants to cut poverty in Russia by half in the next decade. Putin says collaboration between UK's AstraZeneca and makers of Russian Sputnik 5 COVID-19 vaccine is good for the whole of the world. 10 U.S. states sue Google for colluding with Facebook to rig online advertisement market. Nah. No doubt American sanctions will be lifted by Biden, Iran's president says. 'Tis the season for snitching, ? UK Home Secretary encourages people to what? To dob in neighbors for breaking COVID. I guess that means turning them in. To dob in, I guess that's a British thing, a UK thing. My apologies. American. We don't use that one. To dob in? Really? I'm going to have to start using that just so people don't know what the hell I'm saying. Let's see. Coronavirus origins. WHO says Beijing welcomes investigators' trip to China. Russia's Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline clearly beneficial for Europe and will be completed, says Putin. No entry for now. Russia won't fully reopen its borders until doctors allow, Putin says its country battles COVID-19 pandemic. Israeli government confirms it will issue COVID vaccine passports granting access to places restricted to other populations. Putin hopes Biden will put an end to Moscow interference in U.S. elections hysteria, says it's used to tarnish U.S.-Russian relations. Nah. Putin says Russian voters can shake up parliament and end the center-right communists and nationalist dominance in the next year's vote. Putin said a lot. There was a lot of headlines. Putin said that's because he had a big shindig today, right? Putin says Kremlin knows foreign countries will interfere with Russia's 2021 election. You gotta giggle. Insists that Moscow will be ready to resist. Resist, Joe. Nah. We all know resistance is futile. Something out there, scientists may have detected radio emissions, not flatulence, but radio emissions from a distant exoplanet for the first time ever. So that is awesome. From actually the exoplanet. That's incredible. A U.S. Joint Chiefs Chairman meets with Taliban on peace talks. Saudi Arabia. By the way, wasn't there a point in time, Reagan, when we didn't negotiate with terrorists? Reagan. Saudi Arabia starts mass vaccination program against COVID-19, becoming first Arab country to roll out the Pfizer jab. Seattle politician who defunded police calls cops after being targeted in an attack that could be decriminalized by her own proposal. China ready to share moon rocks delivered by its probe, but U.S. own restrictions might prevent it from getting any. I don't really think they care. I don't. We're talking murder, not some theft. Putin denies political motive in case against ex-governor arrested over contract killing. Russian government continues to support the nation's aviation sector and other key areas hit by COVID-19, says Putin. Denmark outlaws sex without explicit consent with unanimous passing of new law on rape. Putin says foreign forces behind Belarusian opposition points to constitutional reform as way for Lukashenko to end the unrest. False information, ? Instagram censors claim that Biden's 1994 crime bill led to mass incarceration of black Americans. U.S. jobless claims rise to 885,000 amid resurgence of virus. UK wasted billions fighting COVID-19 as inadequate crony firms were awarded government contracts, says a report. Do we know of any countries that might do things like that? I don't know. A massive dark vortex storm on Neptune. This is what I was talking about earlier. Pay very close attention to this. Massive dark vortex storm on Neptune just changed direction without warning, and scientists don't know why. Oh, yeah? Can I take a shot at it? Pull shift? It's coming. And you will see it happen. You will see it happen to the planets. The planets will have pull shifts leading up to us. You better have that connection. Because if this is a battle, it's going to be one with an AR-15. Israel may hand spare COVID-19 vaccines to Palestine, but own citizens come first, says an official. Europe will start vaccinating people for COVID-19 in 10 days, says the EU Commission president confirms. U.S. Navy accuses China of skipping meeting, but Beijing says Washington's blame game reveals its bullying style. Let me have a sip of tea. East UK plunged into toughest COVID-19 restrictions ahead of Christmas easing. Russia has international sports ban halved to 2 years by top court, says reports. Russia awaits ruling on Olympic ban for the flag and anthem. The U.S. jobless claims surge as Congress dickers over too little, too late stimulus package. Sorry, I butchered that headline, but Hungary dismisses ruling after top EU court finds Orban's government broke asylum laws. A lot of headlines today. Cambridge ranked one of UK's worst universities for free speech days after institution pledged to tolerate all views. Compared to you, we are squeaky clean. Putin blames West for betraying promises to Moscow and launching the new Cold War. Putin says U.S. developing hypersonic weapons, but Russian brain power means Moscow doesn't fear new arms race. We will be trading on WTO's terms, warns Gov. Noting time to debate and approve a post-Brexit deal is running out. EU allocates full €6 billion to Turkey in deal aimed at stopping migrants heading to Europe. Europe's COVID-19 death toll passes 500,000, says an AFP tally. Moscow brokered Nagorno-Karabakh truce vital for preserving life and stopping bloodshed in disrupted regions, says Putin. I believe we have failed. Swedish king slams the government's hands-off approach to the pandemic. A French modeling agent, friend of Jeffrey Epstein, arrested at Paris airport, accused of rape and human trafficking. World leaders self-isolate after Emmanuel Macron tests positive for COVID-19. Shift away from fashionable race and gender issues, UK Equalities Minister suggests and gets hammered by liberal press. Trump says he has nothing to do with Hunter Biden's potential prosecution. Surgeons perform drastically worse on their birthdays, creating 23% surge in elderly patients' death rates. So make sure that you don't have an operation scheduled for your surgeon's birthday, because you may not get another. Let's see. They took our flag, not our pride. Russian sports officials react to CAS ban. Trump says he'll make China very unhappy by vetoing the defense bill. Putin says outrage over anti-Islam cartoons and French street beheading is evidence that multiculturalism has failed in the West. U.S. cybersecurity agency warns of grave threat from a hack. A video made by Boko Haram Islamist fighters claims to show kidnapped Nigerian schoolboys pleading for release. Texas hospital botches vaccine PR stunt as nurse jabbed with empty syringe, but liberals say pointing it out is anti-vax. 2 people injured in a shooting, 1 held hostage in Paris suburbs, says reports. Islamist gunman behind failed 2015 Tallis train attack, jailed for life by French court. No more boys or girls. America's oldest medical journal says birth certificate sex designations are harmful for trans and must be abolished. Rhode Island Governor Raimondo becomes latest Democrat caught flouting own COVID lockdown rules. Mission accomplished. Facebook joins Twitter in reverting to pre-election newsfeed algorithms that do not provide or prioritize MSM. Let's see. Second COVID-19 vaccine gets public review ahead of U.S. decision. 340 plus Nigerian schoolboys freed after abduction claimed by Boko Haram militants, says the governor. Michigan's Whitmer stages creepy COVID propaganda call with Santa to teach children not to have family gatherings for Christmas. Kind of creepy. Tape of Assange warning U.S. government in 2011 is overwhelming evidence of his innocence, WikiLeaks editor-in-chief tells RT. And let's see, there is a number 2. Use some words I probably could have chosen better. Biden advisor walks back. Republics or effers jibe after criticism. I'm not even sure. Let's see. And passwords change. Congressman Crenshaw suggests his Twitter was hacked after reporter shames him for following escort. Well. That's the headlines. I'm going to get out of here because I've got a busy weekend coming. So I hope everybody has a good evening and a good weekend. If you celebrate Shabbat, I hope you have a very good Shabbat. And telling you, you gotta get evil out of your camp. You got to. Lonely. Why you gotta surrender. It's why you gotta let go of the world. Because if you desire the world, you can't be on this journey. Because the world will break you real quickly. Hope you have a good night. God willing, we will see you Monday. So, unless something comes up that we can do it Sunday night. So, we shall see you as soon as possible. So, as always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. Shalom.